What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and this is the BYKER Bar Podcast live stream. I feel like I say this every time that I say that, but man, I really like saying that. It's really fun for me to say podcast live stream. I don't know. There's like some like British humor or something like that to it that just like tickles me inside or something. So here we are, episode 70. Holy shit, man. I can't believe I've done 69 of these already now. So 70 today. That's amazing. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. It's going to be a good show tonight. We got MTB Alan here on. And before we get started, I want you guys to know I love my sponsors. You guys know who the sponsors are? If you listen to the show, you know who the sponsors are. The sponsors are everybody at Patreon. You know why? Because you guys are actually the ones that are willing to put your money on this channel and support it and back it. I apparently can't find any like Dollar Shave Clubs or miscellaneous bike parts from China or like some really cool mobile game on Apple or Google Play to sponsor the show. So what I'm looking for is guys like you. I really appreciate it. No, like the joking aside, seriously, everybody that's on Patreon, thank you very much. I truly appreciate it. If you guys want to support the channel too, please do so at Patreon, or I don't know where you can do it. You can do patreon.com/BYKER, B1KER. I think I have like patreon.byker.com. Somebody could try it. You can tell me in the comments. I don't know. Maybe I'm lying. Who knows? Anyways, if you enjoy the channel and you want to see more of it, please like and subscribe the video and like the video, subscribe to the channel. That's the deal, because I had a goal at the beginning of the year or not the beginning of the year, but the beginning of this season. And I wanted to see this channel get to like 10,000 or close to it within a year. And we're not tracking there. So if you really want to see this podcast stay alive, then hit the subscribe button, because I want to see like a certain number of growth to know that, hey, this is actually worth my time. People like it. Nobody's subscribing. I don't know that. So if you're listening to this on like a podcast app like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Google Play, something like that, write a review. Those are really fun to read. And I'm assuming they do something to make the algorithm be like, this is awesome. So please do that. If you guys want some content that's free, go to Instagram or Facebook and check out /BYKERB1. So B1KER B1. And there's a bunch of stuff up there. You don't have to pay for it. Just get it free, like the way the internet's supposed to be. Wild, Wild West, right? Anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to go ahead and bring MTB Alan on. What's up, Alan? How's it going, man?
It's going well. How are you?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. I've had a couple of IPAs, so I'm like, I'm all primed. I'm ready to go, dude.
Nice.
How about you? You a beer drinker?
I'm not actually a drinker. I don't.
Non-drinker at all?
No, don't drink at all. Although right now I'm taking advantage of like an increasing number of craft breweries that do just non-alcoholic beer or do like really good non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, sweet, dude. So you like the non-alcoholic, but you just don't like the extra alcohol.
Yeah.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah. That's kind of how I am. But I got an athletic brewing company, Upside Down.
Oh, right on.
Right now.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
What kind of brew is it? Like an IPA or something, or?
I think this is like a
lager or something.
Yeah, that's what it tastes like.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like a lager.
I wish they made beer that was like 0 calories. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't smoke pot, but like it's legal out here in California. And I'm always like, man, I wish I was a pothead, because you could get high all day and not have any calories. You drink a bunch of beer, you're like, oh shit, there went everything for the day, right?
Hey, no, you're gonna have calories with marijuana as well, because
I guess
you get the munchies. And
damn it, I thought I was on to something. Yeah, I guess
no, you're just gonna have to deal with the calories.
Back to the meth.
How do you get 6-pack abs? Smoke
right?
Meth.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, oh man, I want to do April Fool's video in 2021, and because I've been doing this weight loss thing, and I'm just gonna I was like, I'm just gonna like tell everybody, like, be all serious. I'm like, I need to level with you guys. The channel is gonna go down. I'm gonna have to bring the channel down, because You guys saw me lose all this weight. It actually
Right.
hasn't been through diet. I'm hooked on meth, and I need to go to rehab. So anybody that
we're gonna
listens
change
to
the
this,
channel.
right?
You're gonna
Yeah,
like change the channel name to like something like meth oriented.
right. So anybody that listens to this podcast, you guys will know in April if that's what I really do. Anyways,
Kevin Quint Adventure says whiskey is keto friendly. Yeah, I think it's friendly, but I don't think it's keto.
Yeah, because anything alcohol has sugar in it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're big on fitness, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
You're like, you feel like CrossFit or something like that.
Yeah, I maybe like medium. I'm like medium on fitness.
Medium on fitness.
Like I really appreciate doing training that helps just kind of the rest of my life out, and like being able to be on the trail and get up the mountain and do a bunch of descents and not be super tired or beat up from it. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah,
right on, dude. So you do CrossFit, or what do you do?
I do CrossFit. Yeah,
that's what I thought. You look like you had like a little glimmer of crazy in your eyes. So
yeah. That I don't know if that is required for CrossFit or if that happens as a result of CrossFit. But
so is it true you have to like sign your name in blood whenever you like sign up for CrossFit? Is like yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. These days, you just give like a blood sample. You don't actually have to sign the paper. You just give a blood sample. Yeah.
That sounds good, man. Right.
And they keep it in a little wood cabinet in the back, along with the skulls and the candles.
Right. They're like, if you ever screw up, we're gonna put this on a crime scene. You're screwed.
Yeah, no.
Better not cheat on your diet. You're going down.
Yeah, no, CrossFit's really cool. It's funny because like people, everybody likes to take the piss out of CrossFit, but if you're a mountain biker, you actually have similar culture, I think, in that like in mountain biking we like to suffer, know, and we also like the adrenaline, we like the intensity, and then we also like help each other out, and I think, in general, at least the mountain bikers that I know, we're generally accepting of you wherever you're at, and just try to make it relative to where you're at.
Yeah, totally.
And I feel like once you start doing CrossFit, you find that like it's pretty similar to that.
I think all the reasons that you just explained are why I don't want to do it, because I know, like me personally, I'm like, those guys, I can talk all kinds of shit from this side of the camera right now. But as soon as I step foot into a CrossFit gym, I'm like, I'd be all in, because I have that like all or nothing kind of personality. And just like what you said though, too, I think it's like, for me, I like kind of line it up with like my time in the military. That like you enjoy the suck, you know what I mean? And you enjoy the camaraderie of the suck. Like, that's the same reason that I like mountain biking. It's like, there's a whole bunch of shitty stuff that we do. Like, there's a lot of like, if you do time, like shitty time versus fun time on a bike, like really most of the ride is shitty. Right. Like you're climbing for 45 minutes and descending for 10, right? You know what I mean? So
right.
Obviously you have to have some kind of screw loose to be like into mountain biking, right?
Well, one of the phrases that you'll hear in a CrossFit gym is, it doesn't have to be fun to be fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
And I don't know, like it's funny because like you say, like that part is shitty, right, of climbing, but really we kind of enjoy it still.
Yeah.
Like you like it, and maybe you don't enjoy it while you're in the middle of it, but afterwards, when you're in the parking lot and having beers, and then you just kind of you can dig all that, and the descents are just that much more fun as a result.
I think that's the reason that like e-bikes is like gets the kind of like the visceral response that it does, because so many of us, like, no matter what, we all like enjoy the climb, even though we say we don't. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So you feel like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so yeah, I guess that's where like people get the like the feel like somebody's cheating kind of aspect of it, and I don't know. I'm sure it's still got to suck just the same, right?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was just listening to the Path podcast. It's one of my favorite mountain biking podcasts, and they were actually just talking about how like the owner of the Path and one of the other hosts of the show, they just got e-mountain bikes, and they just were talking about how, I mean, they didn't talk about this, but what I heard was it really depends on your personality, right? If you get an e mountain bike and
Mhm.
you're not, and you hate the climb, like you actually, there's no love in the climb for you.
Right.
You're going to use it to like help you get up the hill. Whereas those riders like Tawny and Auk, they're aggressive riders, you know,
Right.
they like to freaking go. And so they found themselves like like working harder
Yeah.
because the more they put into the machine, the more it gave back.
Yeah.
And so they ended up like pedaling harder up the hills and then having like more fun going up the hills on their e-mountain bikes. And they were saying like they looked at like their heart rates and their like calories that they put out, and then
Yeah.
a ride, they would just put out way more energy on an e-mountain bike ride than they would on a regular ride.
There is not a doubt in my mind that you're 100% right, or they're 100% right. You know what I mean? It's just like, I know that's what I would do. I mean, it's not like you're going to go up there and sandbag. Like, you're like, oh, it's just freaking, it's going on its own now. I'm just pedaling all gingerly. Like, like there's like a competitor in every one of us that rides. So it's like, even if you have the motor, that first time that you do your climb that you're used to doing, you're going to be like, oh, wow, I did that in like, 50% of the time that I did it normally. And then the next ride, you're not anymore comparing it to your like analog bike ride time.
Right.
Now you're comparing it to your e-bike time, and you have to beat that. Right.
Yeah.
So the only thing, go ahead.
Well, I kind of equate it to like those days where I feel really good. Like my legs just are like ready to go. And on those days, it's not like I'm thinking, wow, my legs feel really good, so I'm going to chill and just make sure I don't use as much energy. Like I want to empty the tank, you know, I want to like finish the day like emptied.
Right.
And so like when I feel good, I go harder. And when I don't feel as good, I don't go as hard. And I kind of think if I was on an e-mountain bike, I would probably use it like that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to call them.
I'm not sure about is like this is the biggest fear that I have of getting one is like right now, in not having one, I feel like I could like this is a e-ride that I'm going to do, and this is an analog ride I'm going to do, and I'm going to like do these, and my fear is that I get the e-bike and I'm like, fuck analog. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just over it. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like you drink, like, like drink the water or whatever. You know what I mean? Like drink the Kool-Aid. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, like then you just fall all in.
Maybe, but again, I haven't actually ridden an e-mountain bike, but you know, I really kind of relate to the hosts of that podcast. And one of the things that they were saying is it is a different kind of work, right? Like when you're climbing, you know, because it's a 50-pound bike, climbing and descending, you're having to manage it more. And they were saying that when they got back on their acoustic bikes, that they were like, they actually enjoyed them just in a different way, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's maybe kind of like if you're like the difference between, you know, driving a big truck around and then jumping into a little like sports car.
Right.
You know, and it's just different, you know. I remember like, so I used to surf and I had like a longboard. I had a big 9-footer, and then I had a little 7-footer, like a little not a short board, but like a fun board. And I loved switching between the two. I mean, because the longboard was way easier to catch waves on, but it came with it was taxed in a different way than the short board was. So I could totally see that.
In my head, I kind of think, I don't know what the hell just came out of my mouth. In my head, I think to myself, like, you know, I have this amazing full suspension bike, but I still like riding a hardtail. So it's, I would assume, like in my mind today, in my mind's eye, that like I'd get an e-bike and it would just be another one in the stable. But there's just really a part of me that questions that, because the ability to go and do like there was a 30-mile ride that I did on my channel recently. I've done it again since then, and that's hours of riding, you know, to do that ride. I could do that same ride on an e-bike in like probably an hour and a half. You know what I mean? Like just I watch the guys when they're climbing up one of the first main climbs, when I'm like struggle fest in my way up the hill, they're hitting what apparently there's booters hidden on the side of the road. You know what I mean? Like, I never even seen that. I've climbed that road 1,000 times, never saw that there was a rock that you could jump off of. Like, apparently, if you have an e-bike, you come with like special glasses, and all of a sudden there's stuff everywhere. You know, so they're like, they're hauling ass, man. So that's the part where it's like, you know, I'm definitely like an efficiency person, you know? And so that idea of like, man, how much more efficient could I be? Like, I don't know. Who knows? Like, I
mean, I think like everybody, you know, we take our personality into it. And I feel like anything like that, like when you go to a hardtail, from a hardtail to a full suspension, if you get an e-mountain bike or whatever, like your personality kind of comes out in that. And so if somebody's a dick, they're just going to be an e-dick, you know, like when they're on the e-bike, and that's just going to happen. Because I like, so there's a park here, right? And it was like 30 minutes from me, and it's a bike park, but you do have to pedal up. And they allow e-bikes there. And I will be pedaling up, and you'll have somebody on an e-bike, and they'll come up behind you, and they will basically behave the way a stronger rider will behave. They'll cruise behind you. They'll wait till there's a space to pass, and then they'll say, on your left. They'll pass. They'll say, thanks. See you later, dude. Cool. And then you have the person who, like, a lot of times they don't even say anything. They just come, like, they like buzz past you.
Yeah.
Or
like
they like
Chad.
Yeah.
That's what we call them around here. At least my group of friends. We call them Chads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just act like a Chad. And so you see both types, you know, and you're gonna see that, you know, whether it's an e-bike or not, on a descent, right? If somebody's a slower rider, that whole thing. So I feel like, you know, the bike doesn't change that.
Yeah, no, totally. You know, that's funny you mentioned that about the descent, because I have this opinion of like trail etiquette that's different than what I grew up with. And what I grew up with was the climbers always got the right of way.
Right.
And I kind of think that's stupid. And I just wonder if you agree with me, because I'm like, climbing like sucks, right? And like, I'm always looking for an excuse to stop. And so if somebody's coming downhill, like, I don't want to be the guy fucking up their flow, because they're finally getting like the fun part of their ride.
Right.
And so I feel like those rules really should be switched. And then whenever I'm out somewhere and I'm climbing, like, I pull over real quick, and then they slow down. I'm like, no, don't slow down, dude. Just like, get to it. I feel like there should be, I don't know, like, is there like a way that we could do like a website or something, like a GoFundMe that's like
to change the rule,
a petition signed or something that everybody can just agree that the downhiller gets the right of way?
I think it depends on the trail. It depends on the trail system, right? Because what we're really talking about, in my head, what I see is we're talking about the difference between the time when mountain biking was XC or DH, right? And the types of trails that either of those types of riders were on, or you would take those bikes on. But now with trail bikes and enduro bikes, and especially because a lot of us are really doing enduro style riding.
Yeah, totally.
You know, it's the pattern that you're talking about. You know, have you heard the term like wench and plummet?
No, what's that mean?
Like, you like winch yourself up the hill. Like, you just have a bike that has good enough gearing and okay geometry to allow you to like wench it up the hill. And then you plummet.
Okay, like, that sounds awesome. I like that.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of us do now. And so if that's the pattern, it no longer makes sense that the climbing rider gets the right of way.
That's actually the trajectory of my life, winch and plummet. I'm like, this is like life lessons for me right now. I'm loving it.
Yeah, but I do think it's evolving, and I think it would depend on the trail, because there's like, you know, it's funny because one of the local places that has been around forever, right? It's Huldacrooks. It's right down the road. And if you were to ride there 5 years ago, maybe, you know, people would pull over if they were descending, but that's like totally changed now because people ride it enduro style now. But I think if you're on a contour trail, like if you're on an XC trail, right, where there's probably just as much climbing as there is descending on the same trail, you know, then that's where it's just kind of like that's the gray area.
Yeah,
So
that's where I would definitely stop. But I feel like when you're on like the section that's like here, like let's just say in Auburn where I ride a lot, this is probably going to be similar to other people's places that they ride. There's probably like 3 or 4 descents that are like really the ones that make your ride why you go there, right? You know, like, and those are the ones where you're like, I don't want to stop in the middle of that. You know what I mean? Like,
so there's a trail here. There's a bunch of trails like this in Southern California, but one in particular that I can think of is called Chutes in Santiago Oaks. The thing about the trails in Santiago Oaks is they're all mixed use. Right, equestrian, hiker, biker, and as bikers, you have to give right away to both equestrian and hikers. And Chutes though is like this steep ridge line. It's got like waterfall, like rock waterfalls and big berms, and it's like super like flowy and stuff.
Yeah, it's like definitely a bike trail, is what you're saying.
Yes, when you look at it, it definitely is a bike trail, but people will hike up it.
Yeah.
And you're coming down like this, and then like
there's mock Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like it's kind of tricky because of the way it's set up, like hikers have every right to be there, but
I guess to switch gears, but to follow that as well, like I 100% think that almost every trail should just be multi-use. Like I think we should be able to like work it out, man. Honestly, like
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah. What's your reasoning?
Well,
just
okay.
Because you feel like somebody's going to get hurt?
Well, I think logistically, yes, like most trails are going to be multi-use because it's really hard to like convince any kind of municipality that there's enough of a contingency that's going to make a bike specific trail. Because that's really what we're talking about, really. Because trails are just kind of, I think, by default, like foot traffic, and then maybe you can accept horses, and then maybe you can also accept bikes.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at it from the different perspective. Like I want all the hiking and the bike and the horse trails to be open to bikes. So
yeah, and I think there should be more of that. But the issue or the fear I have of that is it reduces the likelihood of having bike specific trails.
Yeah.
Because if you think about if you think you've been to a bike park, you've been to bike parks?
No, actually I haven't been to a bike park.
Okay.
But I know what you're saying. I know where you're going with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the stuff that you can do if you know it's for wheels, you would never do for a hiker.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not building tabletops for hikes or for hikers or for horses.
Yeah.
But I feel like those. Yeah. But I mean, like, what's the point of saying like somebody can't hike that trail? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like just by like,
because then you could go super fast and build tabletops.
Right, but I feel like you could build those trails that way anyways, and people that hike are going to be like, yeah, that's not a fun hike. I'm not going to do that. You know?
I wish I could agree with you because like some of the places that I ride, they're jumps, and they'll just be people standing on top of the jump, like taking selfies.
Yeah. Like or like in this, like when I ski, it's like somebody that's like right over the cusp of the hill. They decide to stop right over there. So when you're coming at like hauling balls and you're like in the air and you're like, oh wow, now there's somebody standing there deciding to eat a sandwich in the middle of the mountain. Great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I appreciate all, like it takes all users, right? To like, because we're really talking about preserving wildlands and wilderness and open spaces and having users, a whole vast types of users really helps any organization or whatever, the landowners like take care of that. The land managers, cool. We've got users, but
I feel like we just shouldn't be stopping anybody from being outside. I guess that's what it comes down to with me.
Totally. Totally. But I think the two are not mutually exclusive. I think you could have it, and it actually might even be better. Because imagine if you had, a grade somewhere and you had a contour trail for hiking.
So that's a climbing trail for the bikers.
Right. And then you could have a descending trail that is set up such that like people that are hiking could actually like watch you.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So they could come like kind of come by it or something like that. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I
Huh,
don't know. That's what I like. I just know that there's a lot of like, especially now in like Orange County, there's like
uh,
so much conflict between like,
dude. Try northern. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine anywhere in California is just ridiculous. It's just like
mhm.
the equestrians hate the mountain bikers, and the bikers hate everybody, and the equestrians hate everybody, and the hikers hate everybody. Like the runners, they're horrible to the hikers, and like everybody's just like, and for some reason, I don't even understand it.
Actually, to me, it's none of that. It's there's one type of user that I do not like,
Oh,
and
what's
I'll
that
just
one?
like I'm really nice to everybody, but the one type of user that I do not like is the earbud user.
Oh,
Oh my god, like
they don't
dude,
know you're there at all.
just
I kind of like don't like the guys with the speakers with their like music like blaring for everybody.
yeah, I don't love that either, but I would prefer that to the earbuds. Like,
Really?
yeah.
I'm pretty loud, so I feel like I can get over the earbuds. Like
Dude, I thought the same thing too, but like there's been people that are just like I'm
yeah,
like right on top of them like yelling and they're like just
yeah,
like,
yeah. They got all those like noise count, like the new
mhm.
iPad or iPhone or Apple ones. They're like all
Yeah.
super noise canceling and stuff. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. I totally
Yeah.
see what you're. I guess I don't run into those people very often, honestly.
I there's a few places where I will see those people mostly.
Yeah, most of the places that I ride here, if they're mixed use, it seems like the trails that the mountain bikers are on, for the most part, the hikers and the equestrians aren't.
Right.
And the ones that they are on, they're trails that are like you're climbing or you're not descending in a manner that's going to really like bring you up on them quickly. You know what I mean? They're like
Yeah.
the it's a climb trail for a rider. So like if you see a horse or a hiker, you're like you're moving so slow that it's not
Right.
a big deal.
Yeah.
And then most of the trails that are like the guy, I mean, there's definitely a few. I mean, I'm kind of like talking myself into circles as I'm doing this and I'm thinking about it. Like, I don't know. I think there's no way around it.
Let's solve it right here,
Yeah,
Robert.
right.
Let's solve the
I want to fix it, man.
yeah.
Let's talk about your channel, dude. How did you get started into YouTube?
I think I got started the way I think a lot of people got started, where they just started.
BKXD.
No, Seth. Like
Oh,
actually, like
there.
Seth was great. But I just started. I had a GoPro and I started filming
Yeah.
rides and posting them. And I like even watching like Seth and BKXC. Like it didn't make me want to make a YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
I was just like posting stuff, and like you match that with my history of having done like video editing and stuff in the past.
Mm-hmm. So
Um,
what did you do in the past?
so I used to have a design agency. I was like a one-person design agency for like 10
Mm-hmm.
years.
Mm-hmm.
And for a period of that business, I did video production and video editing as well
Mm-hmm.
as one of my services.
Oh, cool.
So like, yeah, I had some experience doing that. And one of the things that I did was go out on, I would go film interviews. I worked for I did like these like little jobs for this apparel company
Mm-hmm.
where I would go and I would film, interview, and then edit and then produce a little piece on an artist or a musician or something like that.
Right. Okay.
So it was basically like a little mini documentary where I would
Yeah.
go, like if he was a musician, I would go and like uh grab them in the green room and then interview them, talk to them, and then like film, then get a bunch of B-roll,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would go film the show,
Oh, cool. That
film
sounds super
people
fun.
outside getting ready. Yeah. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like documenting it. And then I would like cut all that together and then make a cool little like story.
Oh,
Uh,
that sounds super rad.
Yeah, it was super fun. And then so that kind of like fed right into it. Like I just started doing that. At first it was just like POV footage like everybody does.
So you were doing that as a business whenever you started your YouTube channel?
No, this was years before.
So it was like that happened like 5 years ago or whatever, and then you
Right.
started watching YouTube. And have you been a mountain biker all your life?
No, I started mountain biking like 6 months before, or maybe a year before the channel started, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you just got into it, and then
Yeah.
you were like watching videos by Seth and everybody or whatever, and that kind of just like, hey,
yeah,
I
I
used
did.
to do this.
Yeah, because you're like you're getting into this thing and you find this resource of YouTube and you're like GMBN, like I don't know how many GMBN videos I watched, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so GMBN and Seth. I had like my first drop receipt post was a DNM. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was his like second or first video.
Oh, BKXE?
No, Seth.
Oh, Seth. Yeah, it was one of his first ones. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, like he did the DNM and he did like how to like set up your tires tubeless and stuff like that.
Some of his old videos he's taken offline. And if you, I don't know which ones are still there. That I mean, so this one that we're talking about may or may not be there still, but you go back and watch those old ones, like it's interesting seeing somebody at like that's as dialed as he is now, where he wasn't as dialed. You know what I mean? He was still dialed. He wasn't.
It was
bad.
there.
Yeah,
it was. Everything was there. Like, do you remember the one where like it starts off and it just says, "It's been raining. The trails are closed."
This is the one where he's doing track stands in his kitchen. Yeah.
I mean, that's Seth, and it's still Seth. Like it's he just has like a concept, and then he like plays the concept through, and he makes it superhuman, or makes it very human. And like I like went back and watched that video, and I was like, he did that. Like he wrote the little story in his head, and he did it. And he even at the end, he like shows himself like cleaning the linoleum. Where he like.
No, he's a great storyteller. That's definitely it's inspiring to watch somebody like that as a fellow creator. You know, I think we look at it with a little different eye, you know, as a creator than some people that aren't. And I try to remember, and I think for me, it's funny when I say this out loud because it's just kind of coming to me. Like I think for me, whenever I was not a creator, I was still looking at it as a creator because I'm like an artistic kind of type of person. Right. So I don't know how to completely relate with somebody that watches it completely just as a consumer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I have a switch. Like I think because I do design as a job, so you have to have this ability to quickly like zoom out and see it like as not the person creating it or not a creator,
to be objective.
And I don't know if I'd use the word objective, but not me, you know, just to try to like just click out and like turn things off or maybe kind of put myself in a different headset. But I'm the same way though. Like it's hard for me to not watch something and not be like, not necessarily critiquing it, but like seeing what they did, you know, like, oh, that cut there, or the way they like led into that story. I was thinking about Paul the Punter's recent, like, his relaunch of his channel. And the way he set that up was like really nicely done, where he started it off being about it being like, what's a punter, you know, and then like making fun of like the noob at Whistler, you know, and like doing all the things. And it was kind of nice because even if you're not from Whistler, you still know all that. If you're familiar with bike park culture or like resort culture and like calling out squids and noobs and all that kind of stuff. But the way he kind of like started with that and like kind of brought you on board and then like flipped it on you. And I was like, oh, that was pretty dang nicely done.
He's really good. He's really good too.
Yeah.
I mean, like everybody has like the channels that they enjoy more or they relate with more or whatever. And I don't always 100% relate with Paul's channell. But as far as like what I see him do, like his quality work is just amazing. And he tells great stories. Like I always feel like he's got this like higher production level than a one guy kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
it's kind of funny because you say that, and I when I watch his stuff, I really appreciate what he does. But it's the same time, it's like when I go to watch a mountain bike YouTube video, I usually pick something more like BCPOV or Yuka or something like that. Just, I don't know what it is. I think just because it's so like, it's a little bit rawer. And I think like, I don't know. maybe it's because it's more similar to what I do. Maybe that's kind of why I like it.
I think maybe that's something to do with it too, because he is up there. They do have like different kind of terrain and a lot of the bike park stuff and stuff like that, and maybe it's not as relatable to me in that aspect. You know, like even like Josh's stuff. Like I'm really good friends with Josh, and like his stuff is just like it. I think it's just like it's different than like what you just said a minute ago. Like my buddies and I, we go out, we talk shit to each other the whole time. We drink a bunch of beer when we're done, and like like that's kind of like the mountain biking that I know. You know what I mean? So
I guess I should be clear with Paul's stuff. It's more of his recent stuff. Like I love the production value and I love what he's doing and kind of his mission statement, but I think I'm no longer the audience. That makes sense?
Yeah.
When it was a little bit more vloggy and he was like, "Oh, I'm trying to work on this jump, or I'm trying to do this sort of stuff." That was like I connected to it a little bit more. But I think if I were like just getting into mountain biking, you know, like back when I was like I don't really watch GMBN that much either. You know,
I never really got into them.
Oh yeah. But they were like my onboarding. Like I didn't really know that many mountain bikers. I knew like one mountain biker. So like learning about how to mountain bike, like they were my resource.
I think that's probably why, because like I've been riding bikes since like I was like a little kid. So a lot of that kind of like skill set kind of stuff, like I never really watched Skills with Phil until I got into YouTube and kind of like met him through the community. Like, cause to me, like I had always been riding bikes. So it's like, I'm not looking up a video on how to ride bike. Cause I'm like, well, it's just not like, it's not interesting to me. It's not something that I'm searching, you know, like,
you know, who I really like to watch is Cam McCall's.
I'll have to check him out.
His video logs. It's well, I have to say like maybe 2 out of 3 of his that I really enjoy watching, just because he's so freaking amazing on a bike and he just does like crazy rad stuff, but he's also just such a goofball and his videos are so just raw. You know, and he has like a dad cam that he like films with, you know, like that's kind of like part of the shtick is he's got like this little I don't know what it is, little digital handheld camera that he like.
Oh, nice.
But
where's he from?
He's I think he's in Utah, actually. No, he's in Colorado. I don't know where he is.
What's his name again?
Cam McCall.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, he's actually from Santa Cruz, isn't he?
Oh, right on. Yeah, I have no idea. Somebody in the comments, you guys know if he's from Santa Cruz?
Yeah, C-Mac.
Right on.
Yeah, Cam McCall and his brother, you know, they were Red Bull Rampage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, T-Mac and C-Mac.
Right on. Those guys are crazy.
You ever go to Santa Cruz?
Yeah, that's pretty close. I mean, it's not like next door. It's if I go to like, have you ridden Santa Cruz? So if I'm saying names, you'll know what I'm talking about. So like if I go to like UC or that, or even to like demo, like it's probably about 3 hours from my house.
Okay.
But I have friends that live down there. So usually what I'll do is I'll just go down and like, we'll ride and spend the night at their house and ride and then come home or something like that, you know?
Do you know like post office down there and stuff?
Yeah,
like,
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like the barbecue joint down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was like one of the OGs like in that area, like Santa Cruz, C-Mac and T-Mac. Yeah. And if you go to that barbecue place, they've got like his old bikes or I don't know about bikes, but they've got like his old jerseys up there. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
right on,
a little bit of mountain bike history.
Yeah, no, that's super cool, dude.
But his channel is great. It's pretty goofy. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I wish I was at a spot where like I could fully make the videos that I wanted, and I think the only reason that I can't do that is because I can't afford to have all these people follow me around doing like recording what I want to be recorded. Because if you try to do it like as a one-man show, holy crap, dude! Like me and my buddy went out the other day. We turned what would probably be like a 2.5 hour ride into like we were out there for probably 6 hours at least, and it's like. And we were like, I didn't feel like we were like screwing around, but it was like We're doing this
Did you?
climb. While we're doing the
Mhm.
climb, we're like, hey, let's throw the drone up. Let's get some shots that'll make it, we'll record us going down right here. That
Mhm.
way, whenever we get done, we can actually just like have fun, right?
Yeah.
And you can catch that on the POV side. But if you want to do like any like ride by kind of stuff, like as a person that's watching a video, you see that stuff and you're like, oh, that was cool. He just rode right by. But like
Mhm.
as a creator, when you see that, you're like, that dude just walked all the way up that hill,
Yep.
put his camera there, and then
Mhm.
did this and then walked all the way back. Like, dude, they're like,
Didn't get the shot because the
right.
angle was wrong.
Right. And then did it again. And then like also then switched the camera so that he could ride by it again. So it looked
Yep.
like, you're like,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There was like I remember there's like just a tiny little jump line at the top of a trail like here in town.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to film myself hitting each of the jumps and then string it together. And yeah, it just took took like an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to do all that stuff too, but when I do that sort of thing, I have to just go, this is not really a ride day. We're not
Yeah.
really riding today. This is a filming day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I've definitely found out like which friends are like okay with film days and which friends are okay.
Do you have friends that are okay? Do you have friends that are okay with film days?
Yeah, I have at least one good buddy that like he doesn't care. Like, and he's like, yeah, whatever, dude. We're just outside. It's
Okay.
and I think he kind of like enjoys being part of it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's like when he sees the final production, it's like, oh yeah, I was like, I should probably put credits up whenever, like, you know what I mean? Like
starring,
right?
Yeah. I can only do that with like other YouTubers.
Yeah. I just, it's hard not to get sucked into the ride though, too, Like that's that I said this to somebody the other day. Like it's easiest for me to really create the videos that I want when I'm by myself. Because I'm not pressured for time. Like I'm not pressured for, hey, I want to walk up and down this hill so I have 3 different shots of me climbing up this freaking 50-foot section of hill from 3 different camera angles. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I want one on the ground. So then it like I have some cool B-roll of me rolling by as well. You know what I mean? It's like, you go out there with your buddies. They're like, dude, seriously, like they're annoyed just with you changing batteries. Right.
Right. Yeah.
like they don't
see, that's where that experience for me, like going out to an event, like, and going out to a show or something like that, to a festival. And like, I know I only have this much time. Like I have to get the shots. I have to get the content and I got to get as much B-roll and all that stuff as much as possible. And I don't like, nobody's going to stop. I don't get second takes, you know? So like I think having that experience really kind of helps me out a lot when it comes to just filming on the trail. Being able to film a lot is nice. And that's kind of like where I like it. It's funny because if you see my setup, it's really, really minimal. It looks like I just kind of like, I just did it. But like having the camera on my chin mount, what camera I have and all those kind of things, how I have it set up was like really thought through.
So are you using the chin mount and something else, or are you just using the chin mount?
Just the chin mount. Yeah.
I'm like this close. For those of you guys listening, I'm like, my fingers are almost touching. Like I'm that close to being just the chin mount. I got this Cali helmet.
Yeah.
The Invader. Let's see if we can get in here. So it's like an XC helmet, but a full face. So it's so light and it breathes so well. And I've been basically waiting to get that. And I was waiting for like my gimbal and my Hero 4 because I had 2 gimbals, 2 Hero 4s. So I'm like waiting for one of those to die.
Dude, get the 9.
That's what I'm doing.
Get so the 9, stick it on the chin. Actually, I have like a thing that you could just strap onto the front, so you can just try it out before you fully attach something. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, once you think of it, shoot it over to me.
But it works really well, and you might experience what I experienced, which was like utter freedom. Yeah, because with it on your chin, you actually can't see the camera.
Right.
So you hit the go button, you start writing, and you forget the camera's there.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the camera being there as far as like the gimbal going and like me being me or whatever. But the only thing that go ahead.
I just mean like physically, like you don't have something strapped to your chest.
Yeah.
You don't have anything visually impeding you like a camera up here.
Yeah.
And then you're just riding, and you can just kind of ride. And then when you want to film something, you look at it.
Just look at it. Yeah.
You just look at it. You take your helmet off. You can like film with your helmet.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's just like it is
just
like
so much easier.
So much easier.
I think the thing for me that I look forward to the most is like I ride Tahoe a lot, you know, so we're in high altitude, and that chest mount, the like harness, it sucks, dude, when you're gasping for air at 9,000 feet, you know?
Yeah.
So it's definitely tough in that manner. So you're like ready to, like, sometimes like when I'm climbing, I'll unclick it. So it's just like dangling, because it's like, it's already, you're struggling to breathe. And then to have like something else like cinched so tight that it's like, it's also being restrictive as well. It's like, dude.
And then you can't film. Like while it's unclipped, you can't film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's. Like, I'm being able to like ride and like I'm riding and there's beautiful like scenery here and it's relatively safe, and being able to just like ride like this and catch. Oh, it's just, dude.
I agree with you there. Like there's plenty of times when I'm riding some sections of trail and I'll have to be like riding one-handed, grab the chest, push it out so that I can get that like side view to see like the view of where I'm at. And it's definitely not like as safe as I could be if I just like cocked my head a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And then for me, the one of the major things, and it might be something that you're not aware of because you're like used to looking at like chest mounted gimbal footage, is it actually, we've gotten used to it, but it's actually it's really unnatural, like POV footage, because when you're riding, like, and you go into a turn, are you like looking, like you're turning that way? You're not looking where your nipples are looking, right? You know, you like lead through the turn. And if you watch chin mounted footage, you like, it feels really like way more natural, where you see like, you see the head come in and then you see like the wheel come around.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm like, the GoPro has some kind of sale going on right now. Not sponsored, but they do, like, I think it's like $350 right now, and you get like an extra battery, a SD card. Like, I don't have enough of those, but like a mount, a floaty stick thingy, you know, like comes with a handful of stuff, and it's $350. I'm like, and one of my Hero 4s just died, so like my backup camera is dead, and that's kind of what I was waiting for to pull the trigger. And so I'll still have the gimbal, but I feel like I feel like 100% since I got that helmet too. I'm like ready. I'm totally ready to make the switch, because most of the rides that I'm filming that I want POV from are stuff that I should be wearing that helmet on. I've been purposely trying to get myself to stop wearing my half lid, because the speeds that I'm riding at now and the stuff that I'm riding, like, it really doesn't make any sense for me not to be wearing a full face, you know?
Dude, my face is on the ground so many times. Like, every other crash is just like face first. Like, I just crashed, and I was like looking at the chin of my helmet, and it's just scraped. That would have been my face. Like I would have like just taken off part of my face.
For sure. Yeah. Have you always been a guy that crashes a lot, or like?
Yeah.
But like, out of your group of friends, like, you're all, like, everybody's like, oh, Alan went down again.
No, I'm not the crasher. I'm not.
Oh, you're not the
like
crasher. Okay.
I'm not like the reckless crasher. I'm just kind of like, I do crash enough, but my big crashes usually involve my face.
Yeah. Just lead with the face.
Just like lawn dart, just like, and then like, you know, across the ground. Yeah.
So where at in SoCal are you? You're like, to me, like, everything is Los Angeles. So
I'm like an hour east of Los Angeles. It's in a little town called Redlands, which is at the base of like Big Bear Mountain. Like, I'm just right down there. So I'm like an hour from Big Bear, 30 minutes. Cool. 30 minutes from Sky Forest, where Sky Park is at.
Yeah. Oh, so that's why you have a lot of videos up in that area then. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that and like when Snow Summit's open, that's the only place I want to ride because it's just
Right.
like laps on laps.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's funny because like when I started mountain biking, I didn't really realize what kind of mountain biker I was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was out doing more XC rides, and when I started getting a taste for just going fast on bike park trails,
Uh-huh.
like then I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm this is what I'm
Yeah.
what I
That's
do.
interesting. You know, I think I didn't really think about myself on like what kind of rider I am. I think I'm an adventure rider. I
Mm,
think those are like, to me, the rides that I are the most fun. Like some just kick you in the nuts, freaking climbing, and then
yeah.
some like I'm not sure where I'm at, kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. Some like crazy chunky stuff that like is maybe not necessarily fast, but then other times it is. You know what I mean? Like I like those adventure kind of rides more than
Yeah. I like those
the
too.
parky kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah. I like those too. I think it's maybe just kind of seasonal. Like in the
Mhm.
summer in Southern California, it's just so freaking hot.
Yeah.
You know, I've done like big like epic rides and stuff like that in the
Mhm.
summer, and it's just ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I've drank all my water, I've sweated everything out, I'm
Yeah.
cramping, I'm just like it's just ridiculous. So
Yeah.
like that's when it's like nice to be up in the mountains on a chairlift. But now actually November, December, January, February is like great times. I feel like down here to do those kind of rides.
Yeah. I
Hey,
mean,
it's
this is the
it's
best.
Eric.
This is the best time of the year for mountain bikers in California, right? Everybody
Yeah,
else is
totally.
bitching about winter, and we're like hero dirt, you know. Like
Now it's
they're all
perfect.
stoked in the summertime. We're like out here dying and dehydrating. You're like, they're like, oh, we're riding with one bottle. We're like, dude, I had a 3-liter Camelback. I just drank the whole thing only halfway through my ride.
Yeah. Oh man, speaking of that, speaking of Cadillacs, like that's been my whole thing is like no pack. Like I've been
Oh,
trying really hard to like ride just no nothing as
dude, you're
much as
speaking my
possible.
language right now.
Yeah.
I would have never, like, if you would ask me a year ago, I would have told you I'll ride with a Camelback for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened. I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Have you like always been trying to ride with no pack, or is this something new for you too?
I spent a little bit of time trying to like get rid of stuff. Like okay, I'm gonna put stuff on my bike, but then my bike ended up looking like a full enduro bike with like
Right.
stuff strapped to it all over the place.
Uh-huh.
So then I went down to like a really minimal fanny pack.
Uh-huh.
And then one day I accidentally forgot my fanny pack.
Uh-huh.
And I had like a tool. I put it in my pocket. I had a water bottle, and then I was like, "Well, I think it'll be okay."
Mhm.
And I loved it. I was
Oh,
like,
man.
I feel like I'm a 12-year-old kid right now, like just on his bike riding around in the dirt. And I was like, I want more of this.
Yeah. I used to be that guy that had like everything that anybody needed whenever like somebody had a mechanical. It'd be like, oh, you need two zip ties? Do you need the 9-inch one or the 4-inch one? And you know,
Yeah.
like I had
Yep.
like a master link for every freaking chain. Like you need a 9, a 10, 11, or a 12 master link. Which one do you want? You know, like I had them all. And like at one point I was like, why am I carrying all this crap? I think it
Yeah.
was when I got my hardtail. My hardtail is what
Mhm.
really made
Mm,
me start like slimming down.
mm.
And now it's like I have that one-up pump, right? That you can put the
Mhm.
EDC tool in. So,
Yeah.
and then I have the mount on both my bikes, so I can just move that from one to the other. And then I have a tube in the tire levers, one for each bike. So it's not
Yeah.
like I have to move it, you know.
Mhm.
And then other than that, it's like just water, you know. And
I mean, if I'm gonna go on a longer ride, like I'm gonna bring a pack. Like the rides I'm talking about right now, and actually Eric's kind of asking, like, how do you get from a lumbar down to a no pack, aside from forgetting it? Well, you start by forgetting it, but
yeah, right.
like I'll do the no pack on like so. There's like Greer Ranch, a little cool little trail system
Mhm.
down here, and even if you like slash a tire and have to hike back, like do the
Mhm.
walk of shame, it's not that bad of a
Mhm.
walk. Um, so there's that, or if I'm at like Sky Park or something where like it's just never that big of a
Yeah.
deal if you just have a catastrophic failure. That's when I will go no pack. But if I'm gonna go ride like at Laguna or something like that,
Mhm.
where like when you're out there, if something goes wrong, it's gonna be like really sucky to get back with no bike.
Mhm.
And also where I'm gonna need to carry a bit more water,
Yeah.
then I will
Water is
kind of
really
re
the only decider for me.
Yeah. But have you seen those new chamois that you can get from, I forget who makes it, but they're selling them on the Tasco site.
Oh yeah, you put a water bottle on the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
see those. It's like the one that they partnered with. I don't know if I'd like that though. I have my bike. Well, you have the same bike as me. You're a Bronson guy too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the water bottle on the frame, and then I have this strap from these guys. Original Free Range. That their water bottle right back there is one of theirs, and it I can strap another bottle to the bottom of like under my down tube. So then at that point I have two bottles. And you can put the big bottle in your frame. It's just like kind of a pain to get in and out, but you can fit that in there. So those two is what I use most of the time. I have a fanny pack or a lumbar pack from another company that I'm drawing, Lab Astra or something like that. They're from Utah, and it's like a total minimalist like lumbar pack. It's like you can put two water bottles and it has a tiny little spot in the middle, and that's like it's been perfect. I actually need to do a video on it. Yeah, No Front Brakes, just put it up there in the comments here. I'll throw it up on the screen.
Labuster, right?
Yeah. So that thing's great. So basically most rides that are, if we're doing a ride that is like, let's just say somewhere between 1 and 2 hours, the two bottles that I can carry on my bike is probably good enough.
Yeah.
If it's really hot and it's that same kind of ride, then I'll bring that lumbar pack. And then maybe I'll just carry two on my back and then one on my bike. And then if we're going like the monster, like out in Tahoe, we're going to be like miles away from everything.
Right.
Then I'm carrying my Camelback, but I'm probably filming. And that's the other thing is when I'm filming, then I'm carrying my Camelback. So then I can carry the drone and the camera and the whatever, all that.
So, I'm thinking about getting a drone. I've been looking at that DJI Mini 2. It looks really attractive.
I would jump right in, man.
Yeah,
I honestly did not think that I wasn't sure how much I was going to use it. I mean, it's like for me, when I bought my Air, it was like $1,000, I was like, that's a lot of money to like, I think I'm going to use this. You know what I mean? Because there's not really any like, I don't know, at least from my perspective, it's not like you like spend $1,000 on a drone so you can just go sit and like fly it around park, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But that
I know
one, the price is good.
The price is good, and you get 4K. I think that's like, I was really tempted by the Mavic Mini.
Yeah.
Until I saw that like you can't get 4K out of it.
That's why I got the Air, because the Air does 4K. That was like, I was waiting to get a drone that I could get 4K on, but the smaller one.
Yeah. But I'm thinking like I wouldn't even necessarily use it on the trail that much. I would use it on the trail some, but I'm thinking like parking lot setup shots. But then also I do a lot of like dolly shots, like in my garage. Like I'll do like product reviews and stuff like that. And I'll bet you I could do that with the drone.
Yeah, you totally could.
Like just in the garage.
Could.
It'd be like easier.
Most of the drone shots that I use, I don't usually take it on rides, but unless there's something specific, like I know, like, hey, I want to get this shot up on top of that mountain because it's going to look sick, like something like that. But most of the time, I'm using the drone at the beginning of the ride, so I'll take some good shots of like where we're at, and you'll be able to like, get some like shot from way above of the whole area or like the mountain range, like you can get some good like intro kind of shots that you can maybe use as B-roll in the middle or at the end too. And then otherwise I'm not typically taking it with me on the ride because it's a time suck, like even though it's not very like difficult to do, it's like take it out of your bag, get it all set up to your phone, take it off, takes a couple of shots, whatever, you're filming for a few minutes, you bring it back down, put it all away. I mean, with your buddies there, you ate up, like 20 minutes at least trying to get like 5 minutes of drone shot. You know what I mean? So
I'm looking at them, but like at the same time, like I just like spent like all my YouTube ad revenue on this new computer. So, I got to let that like account build back up. And then it's like, I think that's kind of one of the funny things for me. Like, I don't know if you experience this too, as a mountain bike YouTuber, when you have like extra funds, it's like, do I get like camera gear or do I get
bike
something
gear.
for my bike. Yeah.
It's tough, man. It really is. Yeah, dude, I'm there right now. Like I'm definitely there right now because I'm thinking about like that Hero 9, and then I don't know what it is this year, but I've been like itching for like new bikes. So like I got the new Bronson, and then I had like right before I got the Bronson, I like sold my hardtail aluminum and bought a carbon one, and then I bought the new Bronson, and now I'm thinking about selling my hardtail to get something else. So
For that money.
right.
So like did you do anything like to your suspension in your Bronson after you got it, or were you like stoked on it?
It's let me tell you right now. Let me preface this. My old my V2 Bronson, the suspension was so clapped out that it was like either spend like $1,500 to $2,000 on new suspension because there's no way you're going to be able to rebuild this, or buy a new bike. And I went for buy a new bike. So
Right.
going from clapped out suspension to the new one,
Okay.
which has like the one that I got has the, you know, whatever the better rear shock.
Yeah.
And it's the 36. It's not the factory, but it's the performance or whatever. That's the fork.
Performance Elite.
Yeah. So it's like, it feels really good to me. But are you thinking about fork or are you talking about rear?
Both, actually. Like
there's this new thing from Lufkoff that looks like a little tiny trash can that they hook up to the fork. Oh man. It's supposed to change that 36 to make it feel like a spring fork.
Oh, like it's like a negative chamber kind of thing, or a top like thing or whatever.
I don't know enough about suspension to like give you like a really good example of what
does it go into the top?
No, it's like down by like the bottom of your fork, like where your quick release is. It looks like a little like think about like a little tiny garbage can. It's like it looks like about the size of like that little plastic thing that would hold your like doggy bags for your dog to poop in, you know?
Weird.
Yeah, and it looks like that. It's down there. And this dude I know, he's a big Yeti guy in the UC area, and he just recently put one, and him and the dude that's like probably the best suspension guy around here that like works on everybody's suspension are like just amped off of it. So like from those two people like being that amped, I'm like, oh man, this is definitely something else.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I know a few guys that had the Lufkoff in their older forks, and they just really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I'll have to
send you
a link for it whenever.
I wonder what they mean by it being like a coil fork.
Like just I don't know. I think what they mean is like it's like you know how it's going to feel all the time. You know what I mean? Like very predictable and very planted. Does that make sense?
I guess. I mean,
there's a lot of guys that say like with the coils that they're like super planted, like they do a really good job of that, and they don't like ramp up, so it's like real even through the suspension.
Got it.
So it's
linear.
Yeah, very linear. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, see, it's funny you say that, because like the Bronson's like linkage, like its rear suspension is pretty linear, like out of the box. And I love that like through the chunk, but I felt like it just wasn't enough. It wasn't poppy enough off the jumps.
It's definitely not as playful as the last one was. The V2, I think, was way more playful than the new one is.
Yeah, but I added like volume spacers to the front and the back, and then it got playful again.
I felt like for me, I didn't need to do that. I just needed to like learn the bike.
Right.
Like for me, like when I first got on it, like I did a review on like I rode this bike when it first came out. And at the time I was like, I'm not really crazy about it. Like to me, like I liked my V2 was more poppy and playful, I felt like.
Yeah.
But now that I own this one and I've put a lot more time in it than a few hours doing a video, you know, and it's like I am like, I keep like talking shit to myself about it, because I'm like, how did you not notice how much better this bike is?
Right.
Like the way that this new one like corners, you just like yank that handlebar down and it just like shoots.
Boom.
You know, and it's very planted through the chunk, like so good.
I
And
like how far forward you can get on it.
yeah.
Like in a turn, like
Hmm.
even when it's chunky, like if you get like low and forward on that bike,
Uh-huh.
it just sticks and goes. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
I had to learn to ride it a little bit differently too because I had the Recluse before that.
uh-huh. The
And you
Recluse, who's
couldn't.
that by?
It's intense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you couldn't. That year the Recluse, you couldn't get as aggressive with it.
Uh-huh.
As you could with the Bronson, like as I can with a new Bronson. But yeah,
Right on, man. It's such a fun bike. I'm such a fan, like a Santa Cruz fanboy, but like I have some
yeah,
friends that they're like, dude, why don't you stop riding Santa Cruz? Why don't you ride this? Why don't you ride that? And I'm like, because I like their bikes and they're all good. So like until you give me another company that makes as many bikes that I like that much, no.
right. Yeah, I think I'm kind of a Santa Cruz fanboy too. It's not that I wouldn't try other bikes, but like they do make really good bikes.
Yeah.
They also make really good carbon,
Yeah.
And they're just a really cool company. They just
Yeah.
do really cool stuff, and I really kind of believe in that. But I'm always willing to try other bikes.
That's what Sedona's for. You go down there, ride a bunch of other bikes, and then
dude.
come home to your room.
I didn't demo a single bike when I was in Sedona.
I usually don't either. I was just talking shit. I think I brought my bike to Sedona 2 years, and 1 year I rode another bike. Last year I rode another bike.
Yeah.
I was riding the Eminent last year. That was pretty fun.
I always want to talk about Sedona because that was like my first. I feel like that was my first like big mountain biking experience, like mountain bike culture experience.
Yeah, don't
but
go
also,
to anything else. It's the best one.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
It just is. Like,
but it was also like the first like YouTuber experience.
Oh yeah, so like getting to be able to meet other guys and stuff. That's super fun.
Yeah. Like there was a point where like it was like me, Shane, Crashing Dad, Seth's Bike Hacks, Paul the Punter, and Trail Features from Joseph. Joseph and Trail Features. And I'm trying to think if anybody else was there, but we were all just standing around talking. And it was just really, really cool. Like that moment was, and then like when we went to the thing at the place.
The thing at the place.
What was that? The hotel. People.
Oh yeah. The ride that Spartan Rides put on. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. That was really cool. Like
yeah,
just kind of like hanging out and doing all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. That the evening thing.
Yeah.
It was like a little like get together, like a fan appreciation thing that they put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really super fun. That was super fun. I just love Sedona, man. It's just it's the fun whole weekend. To ride there. Everybody's super chill. It's like big enough to be like rad, but not like so big that it's like too much, you know.
The riding is amazing. It's beautiful and it's all close. I didn't realize, like, I'd been watching videos of like all those trails, for a couple of years. I always imagine them like out in the wilderness somewhere.
Yeah, it's like right there.
Yeah, like Hogs is like right there, and then like all the other like trails, like they're just like right there. And I was like, this is really, really cool. You get done riding, and then like 15 minutes later, 30 minutes later, you're like getting burgers. And that's
right. Well, and even the ones you have to drive from, like if you drive over to like Slim Shady from the event, if there's no traffic, it's like 15 minutes. It's not like
exactly.
Yeah. Where I live, it's like 45 minutes for me to get to the dirt from my house. So it's like definitely nice to be that close.
But I'm like super nostalgic about it because like it was right before COVID shut everything down.
It was the last one, man. It was like our last hurrah. I'm so glad that didn't get canceled. I remember there was something in Texas that got canceled like a week before that. And I was like, oh God, I hope Sedona doesn't get canceled. I was going to go either way, like still go down to ride. I wasn't going to cancel my flight or anything, but but it was nice. It was nice to have. Hopefully we can like get this all squared away before then. And we'll still be looking at it again this year. Will you go this year? Or 2021?
Yeah, if it happens. If things are opened up enough for it to happen. I just don't know how they would do that unless like things are under control, because I was like looking at footage of it like not long ago. And, Eric
Yeah,
is
there's.
inviting us. Eric is inviting us to Texas.
I'm in.
Is Spider Mountain open year round?
I would hope so. I mean,
Right.
I don't think they get any snow down there. Like, why wouldn't it be open all year?
Yeah.
Have you been down there yet?
No, I've
Dude,
yeah.
I know you wanted to get off in an hour. I'm not keeping you at this
No, it's
point.
cool. Well, no, we got it.
We,
Yeah,
we
I'm
can
cool
we
for a
can
minute.
BS for a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
So check this out, man. Being from California, like we're used to like we have some pretty decent descents. You know what I mean? Like most of our regular rides, we're dropping, at least for us, like we're dropping at least 1,000 to 1,500 feet on our rides. I mean, is
Right.
that similar down there?
It can be, yeah. But you're talking. There are steep trails.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, but like overall, what I'm getting at is like some guys will go out and they'll ride. Say, let's say some people that are in the Midwest, like their whole like elevation gain loss for a whole like 20-mile ride could be 700 feet.
Oh, got it. Yeah,
You know what
I
I
get what you're
mean? So
saying.
like
Yeah.
like I'm like
Got it.
we have very like this trail you're gonna drop 1,200 feet on, and that's just part of our ride. We're gonna do 3,500 feet of elevation loss all the way through. Like here,
Right.
Kevin just said in the comments here, he says Cape Cod, his rides are 143 feet, right? So like whenever
Right.
I heard about Spider Mountain, and it's like 350 feet elevation loss from the top to the bottom.
Right.
So like my California head was like, okay,
Really?
I'm sure it'll be fun, like fun, like going on a ride with your lady, like you're like, I'm not trying to be sexist, but you know what I mean? Like, you're like just like, okay, like ride with the kids, and like,
Right.
and I went down there and I rode with no front brakes, and dude, it was super fun. And there was like stuff that was super challenging too. And it was like the trail builders there, they maximized the shit out of that 350 feet elevation loss.
Yep.
And that was one of those like there's some like aha moments that I've had in my riding time. And that was one of them where it was like, you know what, dude? Don't ever like make your decision on a place just like geographically.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
you can't trust the numbers.
Yeah.
You really can't, because it's funny you say that, because I was talking earlier about Greer Ranch, right? Greer Ranch has some of the best designed and built and maintained trails around this area. They're not even like technically legal trails. It's like in this weird like unincorporated area down there that's like between like 3 cities. And it's about 350 feet. Yeah. Like one of the funnest trails, or the all of the trails there, they're no more than 350, maybe at the most 400 feet of descending. But like you're saying, they just make use of the elevation so well, and the terrain, all the like super rocky stuff, and like it's just so good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That stuff like gets you stoked, you're super amped about it. It's just like one of those things though, where you're like, in my head, I was just like, man, I'm sure it's going to be fun. I mean, I knew riding, like everywhere I ride, I always have a good time. Right.
But wait, am I mistaken in thinking that there's a lift?
There is a lift. There is.
Oh my God. I'm going right now.
Yeah, dude. It's a lift.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Like, and I mean, I'm looking at it like, man, I could ride laps here. Even if the lift was closed, dude, I'd do laps, man. This is tight.
Well,
so
yeah. I mean, I just did the ride at Greer where like we did 3 laps. We could have done more, but it was like the sun was going down.
Yeah.
And like, if there were a lift, oh man, I'm down for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would assume the place is just getting busier and busier, but I mean, when we went, it was still pretty quick.
Have you ridden much in Southern California?
Huh?
Have you ridden much in Southern California?
No, I haven't. I rode. The only ride I've done down there was in the Thousand Oaks area. I went down and like stopped and visit the guys at Worldwide, and then basically like just did like a little ride there. And otherwise, I haven't had a chance. I was planning on kind of doing some SoCal stuff, but COVID just did it all up.
Yeah.
So maybe this winter we get down there.
Yeah, it's so good. There's like
So is that stuff that you're talking about? Is it snow up there? Yeah, Big Bear gets snow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that stuff's all shut down until spring then.
Yeah, I mean, like there's trails up there, but that they don't like technically close down, but yeah, you really can't ride them in the winter. Sky Park will get snow and they'll shut down the trails a bit, but they open up as soon as they can clear them. I guess I guess they're open now, or not now, but like the trails will be open. But it's actually really cool up there because you're like in the pines. It's like it doesn't feel like you're in Southern California where it's when you're at Sky Park. It's like it's a really interesting, special little place.
I got a buddy that's from San Diego, and he's always talking about all the trails down there. I'd like to make my way down there.
Yeah,
it sounds like some pretty fun stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever ridden slow?
No, I've been seeing all of Tony's vids from there. Yeah,
I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. BKXE has said that's like one of his favorite places in California to ride.
Yeah,
I'd like to go check. I went down there for my lady had like a business thing that she was doing, and I went down. I didn't bring my bike, and then I took my camera out and was just like taking pictures of the ocean and stuff. I spent like a day hiking around while she was working. Yeah, and I just so happened to be like by where the mountain bikers were, and I saw the people riding, and I was like, "You idiot! You should have brought your bike."
Yeah. No Fronts Breaks is talking about being in Laguna and having his eyes popping out, looking for trails. Yeah, dude. I remember actually Eric had told me that he was going to be down here, and I was like, dude, we got to like, but yeah, I think. Yeah. Was that you, Eric, that I was talking, or was that, I think Shane was going to be in the area too, and we were talking about trying to connect it up. But
I'll have to get down there, man. It'll be a good time, definitely to get down there and kind of do some stuff. I used to work in the Irvine area.
Okay.
And I was planning on doing some rides, but it never panned out because I would usually like use the Irvine work trips as an excuse to go to Phoenix. So I would like go down because like I'd get mileage for like driving to Irvine instead of taking a plane. So then I could take my bike, and then what I would do is then, like line the work trip up with the weekend, and then I'd drive to Phoenix right over there and then come back. Have you ridden Phoenix?
No, I was just about to say I need to get over there. That
South Mountain's sick, dude.
It looks gnarly.
Yeah, it's fun, dude. It's like it's uphill both ways somehow, but it's definitely fun.
It looks really gnarly. Like the people I've ridden with that ride South Mountain they're gnarly. I've ridden behind people like Somo people that like and they're like, oh, okay, this is pretty chunky. Yeah. And they're like, and they go through it and they're like, where was the chunky part? No,
yeah. Like, and they were probably climbing too, weren't they? Everybody that I've ridden with in Somo, dude, they freaking climb like billy goats, man. Through some like crazy chunk. I'm like, dude, I was thinking about walking up that section like 300 yards before we even got here. Like,
yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing?
That's a different breed.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know Donna Ellsworth?
Yes, I actually rode with her in Sedona last time I was there.
Yeah, she's gnarly. She rides out there.
Yeah, we were both pushing our bikes up this hill, bitching about it in Sedona. It was kind of pretty funny. She's like, I'm a downhiller. This is stupid.
Yeah. I got to ride with her too, and I was like really impressed. And then I like found out that like she'd just been through some health stuff. So her energy levels, like she actually was like at that time she was like a weakened kind of version of herself. So I was like, wow, that's like.
And she was still a badass, right?
Still a badass, yeah. She was cool. She actually one of our mutual riding buddies, like my wife and I, like we ride with this woman, and they helped her hit a jump that like she had been scared to hit. And it was just like cool to watch that happen. Cool. To watch.
Your wife rides too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's a ripper.
You guys like? Did she ride? Excuse me. Did she ride before you got into it, or?
No, I was riding for probably a year before she got into it. I actually didn't think she would like it. But yeah, she loves it. Yeah, we have. I didn't mean to, but we kind of got matching bikes.
Oh snap! My lady's all upset with me right now because I just redid the decals on my bike to pink. and my lady rides too. She has pink on hers. She's like,
Oh, okay.
now our bikes, like, she's like, I don't like them. I'm like, why don't you like them? It just doesn't look good. You should have used like green. I'm like, is this because our bikes are the same? And then she's like, hesitated and was like, no, that's not it. I was like, that's what it is. You think we're like the matchy couple? That's what you're all upset about. Just tell me, this looks cool. She's like, no, it doesn't. I was like, people stop me all the time telling me my bike looks cool. So you obviously are just jaded. No, that's fun riding with the lady, man. That's awesome that you do that. I feel like relationships that do things that suck together are better relationships.
Yeah. She's funny though, because it's funny the way she will see the trail differently than how I see the trail. There's been so many times where I'm like, okay, there's a section up there that's like super chunky, and it's a section that like scares me, it's like whatever is like chunky, and then there's a drop at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, okay, there's, so you'll know it's after that turn. And then we'll like ride through, and I'll pull over and I'll be like, how was that? And she's like, I don't know what you were talking about. Like, I didn't experience a feature there. You know? And I'm like, she just rolls through it like it's nothing, That's something that I'm scared of. But then there'll be other things that like it's the exact opposite,
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting seeing, like different people's perspective that way, and especially somebody how can I say this? I don't know how to say this right. Like somebody that you can communicate that well with, like, like you can't communicate this on the same level with your buddies as like you do with your lady. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
There's a lot of unspoken things, I think.
Yeah. Like with the guys, right? We're like,
I was gonna say with my wife.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Like for me, like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm like more like we'll actually talk about it, like, okay, so like this is a little bit intimidating, and like you're gonna go through that, and you're gonna do this, and like how did you do? Like, I don't say that to my buddies. I'm like, dude, get over here, you pussy. Like, let go of the brakes already, you retard.
That's funny.
So like we're not actually like expressing like what we really feel. So like that's what I'm saying. Like with her, like we like talk things out. It's like
right.
No, I was scared shitless the whole way through that thing, but I just made it look good.
I have no problem telling whoever, whatever gender, whatever age or whatever, like that. If I'm scared of something, like I have no problem. I'm not. I'm actually kind of funny. Like, I think I was listening to I think it was on one of the biker bars where you guys were talking about like peer pressure and how you appreciate peer pressure. Right. And I'm kind of the opposite. Like I don't, like, it never works on me. It doesn't like bother me, but it never like works on me. I'm always just kind of like, you want me to do it, that's cool for you.
Yeah.
Like if I don't want to do it, I just don't do it.
And I'm pretty much in that boat most of the time, but I feel like there's some times where it definitely helps. It definitely helps. Like it helps a lot on the ones where like you're on the fence. You know what I mean? That's the times that I appreciate it. Because for the most part, I'm like you, dude. If everybody's like, dude, just send it, I'm like, whatever, man. I like my feet. You guys can do whatever you want to do. Like, I want it like I don't want to do that. And you're not going to talk me into it. But the ones that I'm on the fence, like that's when I really appreciate it, because that's the time that I need like my buddy is like, dude, come on. Did you just see all three of us roll through that? Like, you can do this. You can do this. Like you've led me into something worse than this before. You know what I mean? And you're like,
I think that's different. That's like you're riding with people who know you. They know your skill level, and they can tell that you're just kind of like mind fucking yourself, and you're just you just need them to say like, dude, you have the skills to do this. Like just like you're saying, like you've done harder stuff. This is just like that one thing. Blah blah blah. Like that, like I always appreciate that, but the like, don't be a pussy, that stuff. I'm like, you can get a different ride home, bro.
That stuff doesn't really right. Most of my friends, we don't really do that to each other. You know what I mean? Like, so most of my friends are pretty chill. Well, we'll definitely razz each other, but usually more often than not, we're like, dude, don't do that, man. I actually don't like, I don't want to carry you out of this, dude. Seriously.
Yeah. Do you have any of those? Do you have any of those people that are just like, they just make you cringe whenever you ride with them?
Oh, my buddy Moonlight Leatherfoot. Every time we ride, he's the guy that does everything, no matter what.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't have, dude. He's just, he's like an anomaly. Like he's like a cat that has like, instead of 9 lives, like 1,000. And so like he'll like somehow get his way through it, and he'll like fall down and be bleeding all over the place, and like you're always thinking like, today's the day that we're gonna have to call the helicopter to get him, but for some reason he makes it through it, right? But you're always worried that today is going to be the day that you're going to have to get the helicopter, right? So it doesn't make it any better, like,
oh man,
even though you've seen him do a bunch of stuff, and the guy's a good rider, don't get me wrong. It's just, he's one of those people that just like, the best description of him was, MTB Savant did a video with me and him once, and he did a little clip on Moonlight, and he was like, that voice inside you that tells you to stop when something's really messed up? This guy doesn't have that.
I think I saw that one. I'd like to meet that guy, actually. MTB Savant.
Yeah, he's a good.
What's his name?
Oh God, now you asked me, I'm screwed.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't ask you.
James, it's James.
James. Okay, yeah. I always try to like find out what it is, but I can never find it out.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. Yeah, right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey, dude, I know you didn't want to go too long, and it is Sunday. I'm sure we could maybe catch the end. You watch football? Nah, me neither. At least, especially this season. Anyways, I was just gonna say, I don't know what I'm gonna say. Anyways, dude. Hey, dude, I really appreciate you getting on the show, man. It was really fun chatting.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. It was a nice surprise.
Yeah, no, dude, it's super fun talking with new people, and honestly, it's always interesting to see where the conversations go. I was like, I'm gonna talk to him about his channel, and I'm gonna talk to him about this and that, and here we are.
Yeah,
an hour and a half later, dude. Have a good time, man.
We can always do part 2.
Right there, you go. I'm gonna have to fly you up here.
Yep. I'll stop in Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah, I want to fly out to Texas now and hit this freaking park.
Let's plan it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's all go. Cool. Right on, man. Like I said, totally appreciate it. Hey, all you guys listening, everybody that tuned in, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate all you guys as well. Please like and subscribe. That's the most important thing to me. Actually, don't even hit the like button. Just hit the one next to it, the subscribe button. That's the only one you need to hit. If you want to hit the like button, hit it 3 times, because that'll show that you have like real dedication. Otherwise, just hit the subscribe. That'll make me happy. If you guys want to do anything else for the channel, please swing by Patreon and do a little bit. There's a buck. You can, like when you get a beer from the back when we used to be able to go to the bar, you go to get a beer from the bartender and you just give him $1. That's what you could do at Patreon. Just give me $1, except for you get to watch me watch me drink the beers. So anyways, definitely swing by my Instagram or my Facebook if you want some extra content for free. That's at facebook.com or instagram.com. Do you guys actually need to know the URL? Probably not, but it's slash biker B1, B1KER B1. And other than that, man, do you have anything you want to say to anybody before? Do you have like a sign off that you do on your channel?
Yeah. I usually just say like, I'll see you next week, but I always tell people to have a rad day.
There you go, dude. That's awesome. I'll let everybody know one thing. It only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one.